and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor's Square, where they care about my health.
Are you feeling anxious, overthinking, or stressed, struggling with sleep and focus? Your physical health may be suffering too. Research shows that stress directly impacts your well-being, making it harder for your body to heal. At the Light Room, we're here to help you find your balance. Our unique facility promotes the theta brain state, which is your body's natural way to achieve restorative rest and repair. Visit us at the Light Room, ISADORA Place in Georgetown, and let us guide you back to wellness, rediscovering tranquility and harmony, because you deserve to feel your best. Call us on 938-HEAL or book online at www.thelightroom.ky.
Hello and welcome to For the Health of It. I will be interviewing ISADORA FERRAO. We will be talking about geohealing. It's a type of energy healing and focusing more on the nervous system. So hello and welcome to For the Health of It, ISADORA FERRAO.
Thank you, Tara. You have got my last name right. Although I think people know me as Isadora anyway. We would have been fine.
My nervous system is under distress. Anyway, so Isadora, you've been on here before. We know you as a singer,
Yes.
which does soothe our nervous system.
Yes, indeed.
So in many ways, you are always been a healer.
Yes.
But explain what geohealing is.
Okay.
Let's start with that.
No worries. So I'm so excited because I've just finished my level 2 of geohealing, and I'm actually studying the 3rd level right now. So it's very exciting. But I'm glad you asked about the nervous system, because we are all born with a nervous system. And if we have experienced safe, attuned care from our caregivers, we end up with a very robust nervous system. If we haven't experienced that, and there has been some dysfunction, or if there has been caregivers that are not always in tune because they don't even know their own nervous systems, we inherit and borrow those nervous systems, especially between the ages of 0 and 7. So if you didn't have safe, attuned care, it's very hard to have a really robust nervous system. And I only started to understand this when I started to do my healing. Why were there times when I was more triggered or didn't have the capacity to deal with stuff? Was it tiredness? What was it, right? And it can be a number of factors. I mean, tiredness can be one of them. But if you think of your capacity as a swimming pool, and every time there's something that impacts that safety mechanism, and this is not always just the physical safety. This is emotional safety, psychological safety, energetic safety, your soul safety, you name it. It's safety on all levels. Then there's another ball in the swimming pool. And there's more balls, and there's more balls. So if you've had ACEs, like just experiences in life, adverse childhood experiences that have built up and never actually been spoken about or worked through on an emotional basis, all of that information is stuck in your body, in your soma.
Yeah, and I want you to think about, let's explain what ACEs are to the audience, because they might have not heard that term before. So what are ACEs?
So ACEs are adverse childhood events. I'll give you a couple of my ACEs only because I think it'll be a good example.
Yeah.
My father is a gambler, and because I never knew how he was going to come home, if he was happy, I knew he had won money and we'd have an amazing time. But if he came home and didn't speak to anyone and went straight to bed, I knew that he had lost, right? So I didn't have this safety all the time. So living with a gambler, an addict, an alcoholic, any adult who is not reliable emotionally, I think that's the nicest way of saying it, reliable emotionally, is an ace. It's definitely a very difficult set of circumstances. Things like, and I'm going to take another example. I mean, this is just the experiences that I've had. My father gambled away the entire house when we were 14, and we were very, very in debt at that time. And it was a scary experience not to know where the money was coming from for the bills or the food. That's an ace, and that's a pretty big trauma as well at the same time, you know? So anything that has happened to you now, other people might have had sexual abuse, or maybe they had neglect.
Divorce.
Moving home too many times. Just not feeling safe. And it's interesting how safety is on all levels, because I used to, before I did this work, assume that safety was physical. Well, I'm not in any physical danger.
Right.
Why am I feeling so threatened or so? So I was like trying to think with my logical brain, but my poor logical brain couldn't even come into play because the nervous system is frazzled, right?
And let's bring this back to our audience and help put some local context in here. The National Drug Council and Alex Panton Foundation did a study on our high school children, and children with 3 or more ACEs are likely to have mental health issues as you go into adulthood. Cayman had 3 or more. We have some of the highest ACE scores in the world. So let's bring that back to some normalcy and understand that our kids have experienced 3 or more ACEs in their short life. So that means mental health issues go up. And it has nothing to do with resiliency.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, people with ACE scores are very resilient to begin with.
That's very true.
So we go back to our nervous system and how we experience, and we look for risks because we grew up with them, and that's how we process
Risks
them.
feel safer.
Yeah.
Or at least how to navigate. So safe people don't feel safe.
Right.
They feel boring.
Right.
Right? That's not true, but that's what we were taught. And so whatever is taught between the ages of 0 and 7,
it's a lot of unwiring.
oh my gosh. I mean, I only figured out some of these things a couple of years ago, and I'm now 52, so I probably figured this out at about 47, 48. It's not everybody else's fault. All this time I thought, why do I keep attracting these people? Or da-da-da-da-da. I was putting myself in some of those places because that felt familiar.
It is.
That was what my nervous system thought. I can handle this. I know how to navigate this. We can do this. And this is a subconscious conversation. I wasn't sitting there logically thinking
No.
Well, I hope not.
No. We become comfortable in our uncomfortableness because it is natural.
Yes.
It's what we're used to.
It's what we experience between 0 and 7. And I had no idea how important those first few years are to any child. And in fact, I was watching something, because, you know, I'm always into different things, right? I was watching something that was to do with my hypnosis study. And the guy said, show me what happened to a child between 0 and 7, and I'll show you the adult for the rest of their life. Now, the beautiful thing about hypnosis is that some of that can help and reverse, but let's not go down that rabbit hole. So let's keep on to this nervous system, right? Keep on to the nervous system. So whatever nervous system you have experienced from your caregivers is what you will inherit, because children attune to the nervous system of their caregiver. And this is where if they don't feel safe, they become a persona to remain safe. I'll give you an example with me. It's not that I had a physically abusive parents, but because they were not emotionally attuned to my needs, and I could see that there was already issues going on with the gambling and therefore not knowing what was going to happen next, I became the ultimate people pleaser. Now, people pleasing can have its place. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but if you're people pleasing to the degree where you don't even know your own needs and you're only okay if everybody else around you is okay, that's not even you. That's just a persona that you've put on. People pleasers are excellent employees. They will bend over backwards to do anything and everything that needs to happen. but their nervous system is going to crash at some point. There's going to be burnout.
Is that what you described it as, the parent-child?
Yes, it's like a little child that is stuck, because that developed when you were a little child.
Right.
And that little person is stuck in that little role that kept them safe at that time, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, whatever the age was. And they learned that when I show up in the world like this, I get Tara's approval.
Right.
I get so-and-so's approval. So you don't even end up knowing who you are. When I started doing all of this work, I discovered who I am. I was a little surprised by some of the things. I was like, oh, this is exciting and scary, because I'm now getting to know myself from a whole different level. But on the nervous system, and back to the swimming pool. So if you have all of these ACEs and all these traumas and all these issues and everything happens, your swimming pool becomes more and more full. You can't even get in to have a lovely leisurely soak to swim to the other side. You're being bombarded with all these things just hitting you, right? So part of getting a good nervous system or a reset, I see a lot of people saying a nervous system reset. I think to a degree you can reset. I think to a greater degree, once you understand which part of your brain you're operating from, you can learn to change the capacity of your nervous system so that you are not always triggered, or if you are triggered, before you reach the burnout point, you're like, oh, when this happens, this happens, this happens. And you're thinking from the front part of your brain. So there's 3 parts to the brain. When we're in survival mode, which if we came from dysfunctional backgrounds, most of us will have been in survival mode for a very long time.
Yeah.
I was definitely one of them. Just didn't know it. You are just operating in whatever is going to keep you safest. And then if you've got a little bit of cortisol going on, or stress or whatever, that stress hormone, now you've got a little bit of energy and you're in fight or flight. Do I fight this issue or do I run away from it? Either way, I'm going to need some energy. I just don't know which one it's going to be for. If you're only operating from those 2 parts of your brain, either the very animated or the kind of like just going with the punches, shut down, whatever, you don't even have time to get into your neocortex. And this was the piece that interested me. The neocortex is taught. You don't just inherit it and use it. So if you haven't had attuned caregivers that have taught you what it looks like to move from the neocortex, which is the most logical part of the brain, where you can make really, really, really good decisions in calm, with curiosity, in calmness, just feeling good, clarity. If you're not in that particular space, you're just either operating from fight or flight. Oh my gosh, I got to get this done, got to get this done, got to get this done. I must admit, traffic makes me feel that way sometimes.
All the time.
I have to do deep breathing in traffic. I'm like, let me get my nervous system back so that I'm not, Yeah, so the lack of attuned parenting, and it's not just parents, any caregiver that you've had. Some of us didn't have the parents always at home, right? We had a nanny or
that's neglect. Whether or
Yes.
not we want to face that, that's how that child felt.
Yes.
And it's not a blame. It
No,
is
it's not
you
blame.
were doing the best you could at the time.
Yes,
You
I
didn't
truly
know.
believe that my parents were doing the absolute best that
Yeah.
they could with the knowledge that they had. And they didn't know how to navigate all of the other stuff.
Yes. I agree with you 100%.
But at the same time, my experience is that I didn't have the emotional safety that I required in order to have a really robust nervous system. And only when it started being affected did I get even curious about it. And in my personal view, having now learned about it, I think we should be teaching this at schools from preschool age. We should be teaching them which part of their nervous system they're operating from. As soon as they're in nursery school, they should be learning it in the smallest way, and then expand it as you go into school.
Yeah.
Because when we have emotionally attuned people, they understand themselves, then there's less opportunity for harm, and there's more respect for self, and there's more like, I'm not going to abandon myself because, hey, I know this upsets me. Why should I ignore it because that person said I should, or forget about that or whatever? No, it hurt me. I need to give myself that soothing that I need, or get it from my parent who's hopefully attuned. But if I don't have an attuned parent who doesn't know how to deal with that,
Okay.
This is where the cycle just goes round and round, and no one knows why.
You can develop eating for a soother. You can
Yes.
develop alcohol,
Yes.
sex, drugs, anything. Too much exercise is even
Yes.
religion.
Yes.
You know, and it's not coming from a place of health, but it's coming from a place of coping and wishful thinking, as opposed to wishing it away, rather than looking at it and dealing with it. And with the nervous system, again, I want our audience to understand, when you're operating from this fight or flight, your executive functions, that's what you're saying,
Shut down.
are off.
Yes, offline.
So when you make a bad decision, you're thinking from that fight or flight. What section of the brain is that called?
It's the limbic part of your brain at the back. Yes, we're here at the back. Not the lower part. The survival brain is like literally just kind of like shut down and just trying to keep small and keep alive. You know those people who don't even want to use their voice? They have so much to share, but they're like quietly sitting at the back and just, just keeping, because they don't want anyone to notice them. And if someone notices them, that might be attention that they don't want.
Yes.
They're still alive.
Is
They're
that
just
freeze?
Not thriving. That is freeze.
Yeah.
Yes.
A form of freeze.
And it could be fawning as well, because they're like, oh, well, if I'm really, really quiet, then you might approve of me. And if I don't say too much, then, because then I'm not, on an equal. I'm just like way here below, and it's okay, and it's acceptable down here, But not living in your fullness of truth and confidence, which we all deserve.
Thank you.
Because we all have beautiful gifts, and there is nobody like Tara. There's nobody like Isadora. There's nobody like so-and-so. We are all so unique. Our gifts are so needed. And so the best gift that we can give is getting to know ourselves and allowing that self to be exposed to other people so that we can all benefit.
What are some signs that might indicate that someone's automatic nervous system is dysregulated, even if they appear high functioning?
Oh, and there's lots of high functioning people. I probably was one of them as well.
Me too.
Overworking is one of the perfect ones. And feeling like you can't even sit and be. Oh my gosh, I got to do something, right? That's overfunction. And that's also not safety with yourself. I can't stop, because if I have to sit there with my feelings and myself, that feels painful and unfamiliar, Can't do that. Chronic sickness, chronic illness, always something wrong with the body. The body is designed to heal itself. When it is in chronic pain, something is not right. I was experiencing a lot of chronic fatigue at the time that I was going through the worst in my nervous system. I didn't know what was happening. I just kept thinking, why am I so tired? I used to be so energetic. What is happening? I was literally going into a type of shutdown. My body's like, oh my gosh, we cannot take all of this cortisol. This is just too much. But I didn't have the knowledge, and I didn't have the tools. I really didn't know. But also at that time of experiencing chronic fatigue, a lot of health things were happening for me. I'd be fainting. I had vertigo. I had dizzy spells. I was like, what is going on? And I would just drive myself harder and harder, because I was a performance person, Perform, not just performing on stage, but perform even in a work environment. I felt better if I was doing something, so I kept myself super busy. And I would say, I want to be doing less. No, I didn't. I wanted to be doing more. And I felt better about myself when I was doing more, but I was utterly exhausted. I thought, well, I can't seem to sleep enough. I'm still exhausted. So when I started studying all of these things, the nervous system, I'll give you a good laugh. Well, it's kind of a laugh in a way. So I started doing the studying, and every single time I fell asleep. And I was getting so frustrated with myself. I'm like, I set this time aside to watch this video for an hour to figure out my nervous system, and I keep just zonking out. Well, that was because I was in burnout. How was I going to absorb when I wasn't feeling completely safe, wasn't feeling completely rested? Impossible. You can't learn. So we cannot send children to school with broken nervous systems and expect them to come out with amazing grades.
That's true.
It's impossible. They don't feel safe enough. How are they supposed to stop enough for that information to even get here? It can't get here. It's stuck.
And I guess the social media is also interfering, because if you feel compelled to be glued to your phone, is that also playing a role in it? or not really?
Especially for children. I mean, it's bad enough for adults because, devices are a little bit like cocaine. They are. We know, right? We wake up in the morning, we reach for our phone, and we want to look to see who has messaged us or what has happened overnight or whatever. And some of us even sleep with our phone in our bed, on our pillow, and our bedside. I prefer, and I tried it, but it doesn't work for me. So I just put it now next to my bedside. But I have a crystal, which is a grounding crystal, and it absorbs all of the EMF from the device. And I always face my phone down and switch it off so I don't hear buzzing or messages or anything else like that. But the ideal way, and I think some people are able to do this, and kudos to them, have the phone in another room. Allow it to charge overnight. There's some people like, I don't know if someone would call me an emergency call. Well, how often does that really happen? You do deserve your sleep, right? And if you don't allow yourself that good quality sleep, breathing through your nostrils, that's another thing. So when your nervous system is frazzled, people who tend to be in their limbic system more are mouth breathers. Yeah.
That's a good tell because I see a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
So how can your energy healing help, or can energy healing help to recalibrate your nervous system?
Well, this is the beauty about energy healing. It is good for everything.
Okay.
And that was why I was so happy that God led me to this, because if you remember from my previous interview with you, I said I had checked everything out and said, but there's got to be a faster way. And there is a faster way. It's not the easiest, as you know, because you've had a couple of healings and there is a little bit that you have to go through, but it's still faster than doing it the traditional route, right? So energy healing can help with absolutely everything. You just set the intention and it goes to work. And it takes your energy body up, and then your physical has to do the catching up. So, but it is beautiful because you don't have to sit there processing every trauma, everything that's happened. I mean, there might be some that will come up maybe in your dreams, etc. And now that I'm in my level 3, I'm finding that my healings are going much faster. I'm doing group healings as well, which is so exciting. So I don't have to heal one person at a time. I can set the intention, and I'm doing overnight healings where people give me their intentions. They go to sleep. I don't even have to speak to them. I just know what their intention is. I have to have permission, as you know. And then I just do 7 or 8 people each night or whatever, and they have the most beautiful sleep. And then they see great and amazing things quickly happening in their life because they've set the intention to let it go.
Right.
So yes, so the energy healing is for everything, whether it is nervous system, whether it is health, whether it is generational healing. It's good for anything and everything. It's the quantum. It's the quantum. Anything is possible. Just bring your requests, but, and you know this is the important piece, be ready to let them go.
Yeah.
I can't heal anybody who's holding on to stuff that they want to take along with them. I can't do anything. I'm just a conduit. So if you're saying, well, I want to let this go, but I want to hold on to this piece, well, you will hold on to that piece.
Yeah. I'll let you know that we've done, 3-4 healings?
I think a little more than that, but...
Really?
Yeah. I think it's about five at least, or 6 by now.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more like 4, but...
Yeah.
My
Maybe you're right, but I have a feeling it's more.
Whatever it is, it has helped me immensely, and I am very, very grateful because some of the things that my mind protects me from. I grew up with an alcoholic mom, and it left me very emotionally scarred. I have a lot of aces. But again, I can't blame... I don't want anybody to think I'm blaming my parents.
No, but you're admitting that this was the situation, and in doing that, you are honoring little Tara, who deserved to be seen and heard.
Yes.
Yes, that's your story, and you're allowed to have your story.
And in doing this, I've allowed to let go of stuff that has held me back, because you can be very high functioning and low functioning at the same time. And my nervous system works damn hard at keeping me stuck. So I'm really grateful again, and it does work. I can honestly say that. Be prepared to feel stuff.
Yes, to feel stuff. There's only one way, is to feel it. There's only one way through, and that's to feel.
Yeah.
But give yourself credit for how brave and courageous you have been, because you see, the nervous system, its job was never ever to keep you stuck.
No.
It was to keep you safe.
Yes.
And it did a great job of keeping you safe, perceived or otherwise. It still kept you safe.
And you got to understand, this was developed to keep us from being eaten.
Yes.
Okay. Not from protecting us from things that in an abundant world.
Yes.
In a basically a safe world.
Yeah.
We didn't understand what emotionally safe looks like. We do not know. And when we know better, we do better.
Absolutely.
So we can't go back and blame our parents for something they probably grew up even more horrible in conditions
I'd
than
agree.
us.
That's absolutely
So,
true. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. You know, I mean, part of our generation, I'm going to go off on a little tangent, is our seamen went to sea, and you're doing some work with them, right?
Well, I haven't done any work with them, but I was super interested when I went to the library because they were doing a whole bunch of talks on people explaining what their childhood was like and their fathers going to sea. And that is what got me so super interested in generational trauma. Because although I knew that the men went away to sea, let me tell you, hearing the stories firsthand, Miss Daphne, Miss Lorna, I can't remember everybody because I wasn't familiar with all of the speakers. Miss Lucille, I'm sure I've left out people and it's not intentional. Anyway, I sat there enthralled because I was fully comprehending now what was going on.
Right. And what was going on was when their men went to sea, it was like them experiencing a funeral, right?
Absolutely. In fact, that's what I think Miss Daphne said, that every time people went to sea, it was a funeral in our hearts.
So they grew up with loss constantly. It wasn't because it was intentional. They had to take and make a living.
Yeah.
All right. The women stayed and slaved it out, so to speak, and the
Yes.
men, they didn't run off and, to have a dancing life.
No, it was hard.
It was hard on both parts. So that hardship created certain patterns within families.
Yes.
And we carry those patterns and scars.
In the DNA.
Yeah.
And this is what my healing work does. It releases that.
Right.
So that's why I love it so much. But we must honor, as you say, that this is the truth of what the generational trauma was. And the piece that actually had me crying when I was listening to the stories, these were young guys that were going. So there were some of them just in their teens.
Yes.
They're just babies. How did they know any better? They had to go out there and just be men. No one had taught them how to be a man, for example.
Yeah.
And now they have to have this robust nervous system, work with all of these people who are probably more experienced than them. I'm not surprised that some of them had drinking issues, etc. It's not shocking when you think about the trauma that they experienced being separated from their families. So we must give also credit to what was going on. Both men and women were both really having a tough experience in this whole thing. But it gave me a lot of respect for what has happened. And, I've had people say things like, people like to talk, right? They'll say something like, oh, Caymanians are lazy. Caymanians are not lazy. Not when you hear those stories, Caymanians are not lazy. When you hear that, think, what happened to that person to show up in that way? Perhaps their nervous system is shot.
Overloaded.
Perhaps overloaded. Perhaps all of the experiences that they've had, and no one has sat down and explained to them and given them some space for their emotions.
So what are some daily practices that people can do to start to support their nervous system?
Okay. There's quite a few. Breath work is probably one of the easiest
Cheapest?
and freest. Yes, let's go with that. Breathing through your nose. The mouth is for eating, the nose is for breathing. Breathe deeply before you go to sleep. Breathe deeply even when you wake up. That's one of the ways. Somatic. Be very aware of your body, your soma. Lie there for a few minutes in the morning. Don't just jump out of bed and go, the alarm went off. Give yourself a little bit of time to adjust from coming from the sleep state and now into the waking state. Give yourself a lovely little buffer of peace before you have to head out there and deal with the traffic and breathe again.
Yeah.
That breathing is one of the easiest ones, to be honest with you. And sound therapy. Actually, I'm also a sound therapist, so sound therapy is a good way. I know some people like to go to crystal bowls or have tuning forks or singing pyramids. Sound is super healing, and if at the right frequency. I'm not just talking about music on the radio. So sound at the right frequency, 936 hertz, 111 hertz, 888 hertz. The the godly hurts.
Okay. Well, Isadora, how can people reach you?
I'm available on WhatsApp. My number is 326-2662. I'm on Facebook with my two companies, actually, Infinite Energy Healing, which is my favorite because I love to do healing on every level, and Infinite Energy Coaching, because I'm also an ICF and CPD accredited somatic trauma-informed coach. So I would love to hear from anyone who needs help, and energy healing is my passion. It really is.
Thank you for being on For the Health of It. You've been listening to me interview Isadora FERRAO. No.
It's okay. FERRAO.
Isadora FERRAO. We are moving you to the life you want.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
When I first started going to healthcare pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor's Square, where they care about my health.
Attention HR managers and business leaders. Want to boost productivity, reduce absenteeism, and show your team that their well-being matters? The Lightroom now offers custom corporate memberships designed to enhance energy and mental clarity, reduce stress, and improve overall health, creating a healthier, more focused workforce. Invest in your team's well-being because a thriving team leads to a thriving business. Visit thelightroom.ky to learn more. It's a new era in wellness.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.